Coach, glad to have you back in the seat again. Got a lot to talk about. We'll start with Omaha and U.S. Olympic trials. You had 11 members of your Gamecock family there, including assistant coaches and alumni. Probably the highlight of it has to be Emma Barksdale. Nearly made a semifinal in the 2IM, finished top 15 in the 4IM, made the Junior Pan Pac Games. I know there's a lot of great swims from Omaha and a lot of great performances you want to talk about, but she's got to be top of the list for you.
She is. She had an outstanding meet. She was very well prepared. She had a great summer. And so we knew she was going to be good going out there, and the goal was to try to get a second swim. One of her events, the 400 IM, doesn't have a semifinal heat, so they only take the top 8 back in that event. She finished 14th in that event, so if there had been a semifinal heat, she would have gotten another opportunity to swim. So we accomplished that goal. We also accomplished the goal that we set out in the 200 IM, which was a top 20 finish, and she missed the semifinals in that event by 5/100ths of a second, and that'll turn your stomach a little bit as a coach. But we've had some close calls this year, both at NCAAs with Akram and semifinals with Emma, but she did an outstanding job, and the group itself did a wonderful job. I was very proud of our group. This was the first time, all of them, minus our assistant coach, Kevin Swander, it's the first time they'd ever been there. So we started literally 2 to 3 months out, starting to prepare them for the environment that they were going to go into. And it's not every day that our athletes get to race in front of 18,000 people. And then on NBC in front of millions of people. So it was a lot of fun to be a part of that. And our athletes, I think, definitely grew throughout the week and got better. They I think, raced in a way that they were happy with. I think some of our folks have had cuts for a very long time, and so they were able to really focus in on it. Some of our folks like Jack Smith and Taylor Worrell made cuts at the last minute to get to the meet, and I thought they did a good job considering they didn't have a lot of time to prepare for it. So very proud of Emma, very, very proud of our whole group, but we're looking forward now to kind of getting the folks finalized and ready for Rio and moving that way.
Before we turn the page on Omaha, we talked a lot about Emma, but what were some of the other performances from the group that you sent that really made you proud? And I know you're proud of all of them just for making it, but as far as swimming on that big stage, who do you think whose performances were some of the top ones for you?
I think they were all good. They were all solid. Some were better than others. I thought Cody Beckemeyer had some good swims. Jack Smith, like I said, for having a very short turnaround from the time he got his actual cut until he got to race, was a very good swim. And also, I was very proud of Meredith Vey. Meredith had a very different situation. Her only event was the 50 freestyle, which was on the last day of competition. We actually went to Omaha 10 days before she actually raced. And that's a real long time to have to sit there and watch everybody else go through their races and have to keep your emotions in check and have to keep the training where it needs to be, because her training was honestly very different than everyone else's going into it, because she was still just barely ready to start her rest when we got to Omaha. So it was a lot different, and I thought she did a great job. But all in all, I was very proud of our entire group. I thought they swam well. Kirsten Durain had another great 200 breaststroke out there. So we had a good summer. We've still got one more meet to go with U.S. Open and the Olympics coming up. But I thought we had a lot of good swims and was proud of the whole group.
So let's talk about Rio. And Akram, of course, will be down there swimming the 400 freestyle, and obviously his top event down there, the 1500 freestyle. It's huge for any team, any collegiate sport to put somebody on the Olympic stage, especially somebody like Akram, who should be competitive down there and can definitely go down there and certainly make a second swim. You got to be super proud of him.
Yeah, I mean, I rewind about a year ago, we were sitting here. I was actually in San Antonio at U.S. Nationals, and we were watching, me and one of the Michigan coaches were watching the 1500 at World Championships in Kazan, Russia, on a computer on the pool deck, watching Connor Yeager from the U.S. and watching Akram race each other. And I think that one race in itself changed our expectation going into this year. He finished 4th in the mile at World Championships, among the best competition on the planet. These are the same guys he's going to be facing up against here in a couple of weeks. And so the expectation did change. Initially, when Akram got here, our goal for 2016 was just to try to get it in the top 8, to try to get a championship final swim. It should be a huge accomplishment that some people swim their whole career to try to achieve. I think that changed a little bit. When he got 4th at World Championships, when he got 2nd in NCAAs, it definitely changes our focus and how we're approaching the Olympics this year. And I think if Akram swims the way he's capable of racing, I think he can go 14:42, 14:43. That's going to push a top 3 spot. Anything under 14:45 is going to compete for a medal. And that's definitely a higher level than what we thought we would be looking at in 2016. The goal all along is to win a gold medal in 2020. That's where when he set foot on this campus, that was a goal we established for him. That did not include any medal in Rio. We just wanted to put up a good performance and get him Olympic experience. Watching it now, I don't know. I'm not going to count him out of anything. I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone be able to do the things in training that he can do. Physically, he's unlike anybody I've ever seen. He's not overpoweringly strong. He can just go forever and not get tired. He's having some great training right now. He's down in Rio right now with the Egyptian Olympic team, training with the national team coach Sharif Habib. They're checking in with me all the time, and Akram is still checking in with me all the time. And so I'm comfortable knowing that he's ready to go. His coach down there now says he's in a better place than he's ever seen him before, which that's a pretty big deal. That's a good feeling from our end. So I don't know. I don't want to sit here and go he's a lock, because there's no such thing as a lock at the Olympics. But I do believe that he is one of the guys. When you start talking about a top 3 finish, you got to put his name in the hat.
How much coaching do you have at this point? Because I know you said he's down in Rio, and I know Sharif is one of your good friends, and you guys check in a lot. You obviously don't get to watch a lot of his training sessions. How much can you really impart on him from Columbia to make sure that he's swimming it as well as he possibly can?
What we try to do, Mark Bernardino and myself try to report in frequently what we're doing here with Akram to Sharif and the national team coaches in Egypt. Once we make that transfer and Akram goes to work with them, really our biggest job is to kind of step back, because we're not there. We can't see him on a daily basis. We can't control how he's feeling, things like that. That's Sharif's job. We have to be very clear in what he's done here leading up to this point. And Sharif is a very, very good coach and can carry this forward, and he can pick it up, and he knows how to taper Akram as well as anyone. He knows how to make him sharp at the very end of a training phase as well as anybody does. So at this point now, what's happening is Sharif is contacting us, and he's keeping us up to speed on what Akram's doing. And Akram's texting me every other day, telling me how his sets were and how fast he's going in practice and what his heart rates were and things like that. So I have a general idea of how he's feeling, and I think he's in a very good place. And the input that I'm getting from Sharif is that he's faster than he's ever seen Akram be, and that's good. So right now we're just standing back and kind of riding the wave on into Rio. We feel like our work is done, and where they need input from us, we provide it. They still ask, certain weeks how much volume we did, so they can adjust what they're doing right now. But outside of that, this is their national team's game. It's time for them to kind of step up to the plate and coach them on into the Olympics.
For Julia, Vincent, just how proud of her, for you're fighting so hard and getting that spot.
She's been through a lot. South Africa is a country that I don't want to say they're indecisive, but they like to go back and forth when they, we'll have a decision by this date. No, wait, no, this date. No, this date. No, this date. Wait, you need to go to this meet. Okay, you did well at that meet. Actually, we're going to make you go to this meet. They're constantly, for them to get to a final decision with her, she had to go through a lot. It was a lot of ups and downs. She had to spend a lot of time traveling. I think she honestly was on the road, if I remember correctly, back to the spring, back in March, for almost 4 straight weeks. And that's hard. And she still came out and had an outstanding GPA here at the university. So that's a big deal. I'm unbelievably proud of her. all the credit in the world to Todd Sherritt, our diving coach, and what he's done with that group to be able to put her on this stage. I had a meeting with him yesterday, and he absolutely believes that if she dives well, she can get in that top 8. And that's going to set her up for a great junior season here at South Carolina. So very, very proud of Jules. It couldn't happen to a better person. Such a sweet, just a genuine young lady who wants to see our program excel, and we are behind her 100%.
Having those two Olympians, Akram, who's a swimmer and a member of the male team, Julia, who's on the women's team and is a diver. So basically everybody's covered.
Yep.
And they are examples for the entire rest of the program. And I got to think some of them have ambitions for 2020 themselves. Mm-hmm. How does that kind of serve as an example and something that can motivate the rest of the team as you go collegiately here in a few months?
I think what it shows, not only our own team, but also future recruits, is that this is a place where, regardless of whether you're a swimmer, whether you're a diver, whether you're whether you're a sprinter, a distance swimmer, it doesn't matter what it is, we can provide an environment here for you to go and compete at the absolute top level. The Olympic Games is the pinnacle of most sports. To be honest with you, and to be able to put these athletes there, that's a huge deal for us. And so we use that in recruiting, but it's not really something we have to talk about because honestly, most of the people around here know the situation. They know about Akram, and they know about Julia, and so we do have that as a selling point, but most of the time that speaks for itself. So it does wonders for us. I think going into next year, this momentum that we've had from this summer with the great Olympic trials and these guys that are going to Rio, I think it sets us up to make another big jump, not only in the men's program, looking to go into the top 15 in the nation, but also with our women's program who are poised to bust into that top 25 at the end of the year. This is an expectation now. It's not a wish. It's not a dream that we have. It's something that we expect to be in that position at NCAA's. It's not a goal of just getting there anymore. It's a goal of getting there and being great when we're there. It used to be if you could get a person to NCAA's, we were successful. Well, now I'm a little upset if we get less than 7 or 8. So we're in that position now where the expectation has changed, and I think that's never been bigger than it is right now as we go into this season where we have Olympians stepping back into our program for the next couple of years, and they can start to help embed that culture and the elite mentality that we have that's growing. They can continue to help that grow. So it makes a huge impact. But above all right now, our goal is just to make sure that Akram and Julia are as sharp as they can possibly be. They're going to go and they're going to represent their country, but they're also stepping up to the plate and they're representing the University of South Carolina. All these folks know across the country where those two go to school. Anybody in the swimming world knows Akram. Everybody in the diving world knows Julia. So, we want them to be great, and we're cheering for them, and I'm really excited to see their performances here in a few weeks.
Coach, hopefully we can touch base with you before they get rolling in Rio here in a couple weeks.
Very good.